Good things.
All right. So, John, are you ready for the show? Are you recording the show?
I just started.
Okay, fantastic. Belle, are you ready, or are you getting high off of that candle?
So I came up here and I have no fire. I'm gonna have to rub two sticks together while one of you are talking.
It's so weird. I have a candle going that I just lit before this show, too. What's up with Arizona and candles right now?
You don't want to know why? Because it smells like
Teen Spirit?
shit and regret in Arizona. So
Teen Spirit, okay.
Yeah, you have to.
Why are we harshing on Arizona? This is like, we've got like 2 months before it gets awful again.
I know. It's the best time of year.
This is the only time it's good, except for the people who come here. They're the real villains of the piece.
Yeah, because they do stuff and park their cars weird.
Yeah, because they drive
and
places. They drive.
Clog the traffic lanes.
It's bad. On a normal, like in the middle of summer, I'm like, there's about 50% too many people here. But during winter, like, that's for real, though.
Well, and I don't leave the house even more so in the summer because swampy balls, even for girls, is a thing. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
It's just not fun for anyone.
It's just perpetual down here.
Yeah.
It's bad.
Life lessons.
Glad this is in the show.
Yeah, it's important. Arizona life.
Arizona life.
That,
it is
the
a life
badge?
in its own.
Yeah,
it's a life in its own.
It's
Arizona life.
The sitcom, opening Arizona life, da, 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 and then we're like, I'm a.
It's how true Arizonians know how to greet each other. You go, I'm from Arizona, and you go, really?
Because we brave the heat for the cheap cost of living. We're really pioneers if you think about it.
Is it that cheap?
Is it really cheap?
Well, I mean, I've been to other parts of the world that are not cheap, but I also probably haven't been to the cheapest parts of the world.
Okay.
I feel like there was a racist comment in there somewhere.
Okay.
I don't think so.
We're probably
I think
fine.
It's more of
We're probably fine.
renting,
but if we
from the same
unpack it,
apartment complex,
who
and
knows
we're
what'll
both
happen?
Probably overpaying.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Sadness.
Anyways, let's start a show.
Yeah, let's do
yeah,
a show.
I mean, it's going. The show will
Yeah,
happen.
Well, technically, the podcast isn't going yet. That happens when I hit
That's
record
really what
on
matters,
that.
because 90% of the time I forget to upload it to YouTube anyway.
Well, that's not good. As long as you upload it to Patreon.
They'll see this episode in 100 months.
I'm going to set the mood and have my husband bring me a fire so that I don't have to rub two sticks together.
Bring him a fire. He's just like, I've brought it.
I was gonna say it in Spanish, but since I'm not sure I said bathroom correctly in Discord
No,
earlier.
you probably
did.
did.
Oh, did I? Okay.
Yeah. No, you need to catch up on that conversation because I mixed it up with stuff. I was wrong.
Ben's the one who doesn't know how to speak Spanish, but he comes in like
3
he
words
does.
of Spanish, but I was wrong.
I watched it in a movie. It's the only reason I knew how to say the sentence. Though half of it was English because I didn't know.
Ben, start the show.
I had to get that cough out before I started.
Okay. Ben, start the show.
All right, we're going to start the show.
Okay.
Welcome to Astronaut Roundtable, episode 349. It's Friday night. I can hopefully make it through the entire episode without coughing. And I'm also Ben Baumhofer. With me, as always, is my good friend, my co-captain, my compatriot, my guy who's shaking his head at me like I'm going on way too long on his intro. I mean, I'm no Roe when it comes to intros. But it's John Jagger. How's it going, John?
Hello, Ben. It is Friday night here in Azeroth, and I'm happy to be joining you for what will be part 3 of our questions and answers show. Not doing anything else, just doing more Q&A for the next 17 weeks. Enjoy it. Here's a question. Who's our guest today? We've been doing this show together for so long, Ben.
That was...
Well, you know what? I can answer that, John, because with us this week is Belle. How's it going, Belle? Welcome back to the show.
Hey, thanks for having me, guys. Thanks
Well, we're
for
always happy to
inviting
have
me
you.
back. It's always good when you get invites back, because then you know you didn't really, ruin it the last time.
Or you learn how long people's memories are.
Truth. And I bank on that.
What happened last time?
I don't remember.
Oh,
I
that's
just
right, you set
remember
fire.
that she's been a guest before, and we should have her back.
Yeah, well, I'm happy to have her back because she's awesome.
I'm concerned because she wants to troll me, but we'll get to that,
I would
I'm sure,
never
in a minute.
knowingly enter into troll antics.
Okay. We'll see.
Ever.
Insight check.
Doesn't take much. Has been established.
Yeah. Well, see, here's the thing. I like having you on the show because you're fun to talk to. I enjoy talking about World of Warcraft with you. And I also like talking about PvP with you. Now, I'm not saying that is the only reason that you're on the show this week. But I did have a PvP thing to kind of talk about last week, and John basically said, F no, Ben, we're not talking about that.
He swatted it down because he's an oppressor.
Mm-hmm. I did.
Yes.
Classic oppressor.
I did. I not only did it before the show, but then I did it live on the show. And the audience can confirm Ben had a PvP story. He was ready to tell it. I told him no. And then one of the questions we got was even, can Ben tell his PvP story? We didn't get to it. We didn't get to that question.
Didn't get to that question.
How convenient that you didn't get to said question.
Isn't it?
I find that to be more than coincidence.
Convenient? A shame? We'll find out. Ben?
Next time.
Show's over. We're done. Thanks.
We've run out of time. The intro was just too long. We got to tell people where they can find us. But don't worry, your sweet PvP story will still be there tomorrow.
Yeah, well, I kind of forgot the details of the story in the last week, so we don't have much of a story. But we did kind of start talking about the anniversary, events and everything that happened the last, last month. And I gotta say that I am really enjoying the whole, Crow Rock's Revenge or whatever, the Alterac Valley classic PvP, because that is what I had sunk my teeth into for PvP when I first did it back in Burning Crusade. And I played enough, so I've got my wolf mounts. Nevermore doesn't have hers yet, but I'm pushing her to say, hey, let's do this, because one, I have a paladin that I can level in there, so I'm excited for that. But also because it is super simple for the Horde to get their wolf mount, apparently, because you remember in Alterac Valley forever ago where the Horde would never win?
Yeah, the bridge.
Well, I won every single match that I played except for 2.
Oh, did they get rid of the bridge?
No, the bridge is still there.
No,
That's impossible. It's a natural bottleneck.
Alliances started drinking Pine Sol or licking windows or something, because he is absolutely correct. As an Alliance player, it is irritating that the amount of window licking that occurs is just... Sorry if I offend anybody that's Alliance, but it has not been good in my battle group as an Alliance member. It's been terrible. Alliance, I have not won one of the runs I've done, and I've done a gajillion.
Well, it sounds like Ben has won 100% of the time. Are you in the same battle group?
I have no idea, because we're on Earthen Ring, and
Feels like we are.
Maybe. Okay.
Feels like we are. But on the Horde tune, because I leveled used the event AB to level the Horde tune, won every single one.
Yeah. But I gotta say, if you're going in just for marks, there's still the quests that you can do to get some of those marks, and that's great. As soon as you turn those in, hey, guess what? Just run all the way to the top of the map, because they're about to fight the head Alliance guy in the amount of time it takes. It seems like it just goes by super fast.
Horde knows what they're doing. They always have an AV, though. Even, old school AV, it's always been one of the things that Horde's kind of had on lock, at least in my battle group. We usually win, but outside of this event, usually my battle group's always quite successful, but Horde puts up a really good fight.
Okay. But I will say that, so for the 2 matches that we didn't actually win, one we lost, that I jumped in, I guess almost all the way at the end, because it was over within 5-10 minutes or something. So I'm like, okay. But we were actually fighting the final dude in the keep, but they just must have beat our guy faster. That's fine. And the other one was surprisingly one of those super duper long AVs. I was in it, or I hopped in it. It was already going. Everybody's fighting in the middle. And for the next hour and a half, there was no progress made whatsoever, one way or the other.
that's where pride has come into play now, and it's difficult for either side to pull themselves out of that prideful moment to do what they need to do, and those are actually the best ones if you're using it to level, because you get more experience the longer the length. But the good battles are always fun if they're fun. I know that didn't make any sense, but
No, but
No,
I
it totally makes sense.
remember back when original AV was in there, and occasionally you would run into that where it was just like, you know what? I'm just having a really good time. This battleground could go on for 100 years, but right now the battle over either this graveyard or this little scrap of land or whatever's happening in just this minute is so intense and so good and so balanced in the way that is fun. I'm just having a blast, and just this little piece could just go on forever. And sometimes it did.
yeah, there's little nuances inside of there that people that know what they're doing that make it really fun. Hunters freezing the guys inside the towers and capping that way instead of spending all your time killing. Like there's when you have a group that's doing certain things that strategically makes it faster but slower. It's faster so that you can do more things, but it doesn't it doesn't make for a quicker AV. It's just more strategic. That's how you know it's going to be a good one, when little things are happening, when we're back capping, when there are things that are occurring in the strategy from people that know what they're doing. That's when it's really fun. But when you're just getting clobbered and farmed at your graveyard, I'll never say die. I'll keep rezzing and I'll keep trying to kill you in the graveyard you're farming me in, because it's pride at that point, but it's not fun.
Yeah, I know, I'm with you on that. And eventually I did have to leave that one after an hour and a half, just because it was one of those things where, okay, I have to go to bed because I do need to work the next day. So otherwise I probably would have stuck with it for a while longer, at least to see what was going to happen. But
For sure.
this is the first time I've done Battlegrounds as a healing monk, though.
Oh.
And it was interesting because I forgot that add-ons exist where, it flashes, hey, there's the healer, kill him.
Yeah, healers have to die.
And so, I jump into a fray and all of a sudden everyone just turns and comes after me. And I'm like, oh man. And I had some decent survivability, though, which was actually kind of cool. And because I'm a monk, I'm actually doing a little bit of decent damage, killing people and everything. And I mean, it was just a total blast. And I'm not saying I'm turning into like a full-time PvP guy or anything, but at least while this event's going, I'm probably going to definitely enjoy it a lot more, because it was so much fun. It was so much fun.
And healing it isn't for everyone in PvP, because you're always a target. It's the same with being a warlock. You're always a target because they're trying to shut you down because you're in a bush, free casting and doing your thing. But monks are really strong because they have a lot of really good survivability, and it's really really hard to kill a monk. It takes several people, and it's a big cooperative effort. But PvP is great when you are in the mode of, it's good, it's fun, let's kill stuff. It's also good to blow off steam, by the by. If you're having a long work week, I like to go in and kill stuff until I feel better. Sometimes it doesn't help. I still want to kill like my coworkers in real life, but I mean,
Well, that's just a job. That's just how that works.
it's just
but,
part of the course.
We got to the point where the big tree dude was summoned and he was heading towards our side, and I'm like, oh my god, it's the big tree guy. You never see him anymore. This is so cool.
Yeah, it's pretty fun.
That's all. That's just, I wanted to gush about that for a tiny little bit.
Is this the most PvP you've done in an expansion, Ben?
No. So, okay, funny story. The most PvP I ever did was way back in Burning Crusade, because I really wanted a wolf mount. And the fastest way to get a wolf mount was to get those 200 frost wolf marks to get the frost wolf mount. So when the anniversary edition happened and there was an updated version of that, I'm like, oh, I need that because history. And so, yeah, I did a whole bunch of PvP to get the frost wolf mount again. It just totally worked. But since Burning Crusade, this is probably the most PvP I've done. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I know we had a stint where we did, not Battlegrounds, the other one, Arena.
The arenas, yeah, but
we did a little Arena. There was Strath home runs. There was a little PvP in there.
That was just you versus me. That doesn't count.
Oh, it
I
counted.
have 0 chill in arenas, and because I don't have any chill, it isn't fun for me. At all. In fact, it's the opposite of fun. I'm angry. I'm throwing things. it's not good for my mental health. But battlegrounds are great, especially if you have a group of 5 people, at least that you know are your 5 people, because 5 out of the 10 or 15 in a smaller battleground, 5 people that are connected together and playing on comms can win it. Even when people are licking windows and fighting on roads, and the mage that you sit at Lighthouse doesn't stay at Lighthouse because he doesn't realize that is his role, or the hunter that's sitting at Lighthouse or Water doesn't realize that's his role, and they leave.
Were you with us, Ben, this expansion? Because we did that with, was that when...
In war mode a little bit.
Yeah, when we were we decided to just queue up for Battlegrounds for a while.
Oh, no, I wasn't with you for that part.
Oh, okay. Because, yeah, we did that. We did the, like, bring a small group into bigger Battlegrounds, and you're right, it was extremely effective. I don't think we lost a single one. It was just one-handedly every single time. It was very, very nice.
As long as there's at least 4 or 5 of you that are on comms that can coordinate, it's easy money. Most of the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, way back when John and I would, just be doing Battlegrounds or Arena or whatever together, and it was like, Arathi Basin, and we're just the 2 of us on comms running around. It's like, hey, I think we need help over here. Oh, I was overwhelmed and got killed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, I think we need help over here. Yep,
there's some kind of weird disconnect with any instanced group chat that is not people that you play with, and I don't know what that disconnect is, but it's like I struggle to even look at the chat because I know it's going to be a slew of get goods and God, you guys suck, and the one guy that's running his mouth and he's got the worst DPS of the entire group.
Well,
he's typing the whole time. Yeah.
And I know that not all of these people are terrible individuals, right? And they're probably super able and capable, but it's like mob mentality. Once they all get together, God forbid you listen to somebody in chat who may know what they're doing, but it's just, I don't know what it is. People just, there's a switch that turns on where they just get instantly stupid and they're combative, and there is no, maybe it's the anonymity factor that there isn't any accountability because you're an anonymous on the internet. Maybe that's,
I mean, it could be, because the funny thing is so look at the 2 big group dynamics and things that people queue for. So there's, Battlegrounds, which is, anywhere from 10 to 20, 25 people or whatever. And then there's, Raid Finder. I couldn't think of what it was called because I haven't used it so much in this expansion. And so there's 2 different things. So in Battlegrounds, there's, like a strategy of like, okay, let's, go here, push to this and everything like that. But the thing is that the strategy for that changes constantly based on, the other players. Whereas something with a Raid Finder, you go in and there is a strategy, and maybe like 30% of the people know it. You fail a bunch, and then someone's like, okay, this is what we do, blah, 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 blah. Like sometimes calmly, sometimes people are all caps, do this, do this, do this. It varies, but because there's like set strategies and places where you can go to find out what happens, like, yeah, people are still jerks and stuff, but for some reason it seems like it's so much more successful with that because you're fighting the game. Whereas people who run their mouths all over for PvP and are like, God's gift to PvP and the best person in the world and all this stuff and everything, it just always falls apart because they're so focused on what was happening and what they should have done versus, okay, currently what's going on now.
Problem solve.
Let's do this. Exactly. And with only one person typing and screaming and everybody else just like ignoring them, there's no communication. It was just like you said, it just doesn't work that way.
When someone types orders in all caps, especially when the orders are wrong, my response is, you're not my dad. Like, you're not my dad, so. If you want to have my dad come in here and give me orders, I probably still won't listen because I don't like my dad, but, I mean.
It's not going to help, but I'll tell you that this isn't going to work.
But I'm sure that this behavior doesn't occur in Classic. Certainly it doesn't happen in Classic.
The paradise of Classic.
I'm sure Classic is impervious to...
Honestly, though, I wonder.
Right now, it's in honeymoon phase. Probably not so much anymore, but like it's brand new and everybody is loving life and everything is amazing and hitting shit with sticks is great.
We're all bad. and then they just laugh.
But one day, that will cease to be funny.
I kind of just feel like right now the excuse in Classic would be, what are you going to do? It's Classic. But eventually, you've been playing it long enough, and people will have the get good mentality. I'm honestly surprised it's not there to begin with, because, you know, I think a lot of times where the frustration comes in, and I've experienced this, I got invited to go do a heroic kill Jaden when that was still relevant content. And I learned all the fights as I was going, because I told him, I was like, I've never done this before. Like, you're going to be carrying me, and I'm going to have to learn along the way. And they said, yeah, that's fine. And I said, okay. And so they taught me. So I learned the fight in heroic. And then it was part of some quest in that expansion or something like that. I had to go fight him. And I queued up Raid Finder, which is, they've removed all the mechanics. And the, like, 2 mechanics they kept in that fight, you see people get hit by it. And I didn't act on it. I didn't scream in all caps. But the first thought was, the hell are you doing? This is so easy compared to what I was just doing. How is it possible that the easiest mechanic you can't achieve... And they left you the don't stand under the orb mechanic, and that was too much for you? Try when you have to aim, and you have to be on the diamonds, and you have to be a certain amount apart, and they're also going to throw this at you on top of it. It all went through my head. I definitely felt the fire and the passion, but then you got to roll it back, and you got to say, okay, well, this was you literally a couple days ago, you scrub, going through with a bunch of people on Heroic that were probably like, he doesn't even know where he is. He's just seeing things and being excited like a newborn into the world.
Green here.
He doesn't even go here.
Like, it's one of those things where, you know, you get that feeling. So I guess I'm just surprised that there isn't, and I don't know because I'm not in it. I am doing the Battlegrounds in Classic. Maybe this is there, but I'm surprised there aren't some people that are like, you know, I did this back in the day. I was here. I know what the strategies are. Listen to me. You're going to go up the side road. We're all going to stand up looking down over the flag. And then when they go for our flag, we all drop down on top of them, kill them, take the flag, and get ours back on the way. That's the strategy. That's what we do. It's the right way to do it. And I don't know. I wonder if that person's there.
Or is it the people who are actually experiencing Classic for the first time, just going like, oh, that's the strat? Okay. And everybody just does it.
That's probably true. I feel like there's probably a fair amount of people who didn't know the life of Classic, who have went and checked it out and seen what's what, and, you know.
I checked it out, and I had a good time there. Which, by the way, I see Alessandra in the chat. Just because it isn't for you, no reason to disparage it. I'm not disparaging it.
No, we're not.
But people... in general, a generalization that I might make about people playing Classic is very, yes, the sophisticated WoW for the sophisticated WoW enthusiast. Oh, you're having a hard time doing island expeditions? Well, we don't have to worry about that here in Classic. It's simply perfect. And it's fine.
They're turning their own butter. That's why.
Those people
turning
exist.
their own butter and having to fetch their water from the well with no electricity makes you sophisticated.
And if you think I'm not going to poke fun at those people while I'm still poking fun at the people that are like, actually, Warlords of Draenor was a very good expansion, I'm going to poke fun at everybody. They all get it. And yes, hashtag not all Classic players are like that, but there's some. I see it. I don't even go looking for it, and it finds its way to me. So we're going to give Classic a little attention here and there, and it'll be fine.
Well, we need Classic, because I firmly believe that what they're doing in Classic is purposeful, and I think it's going to make life better, because I think the devs are getting information that they missed in their rush to change everything and to make it so cookie cutter and like all the other games, because it was hard for people, which it should be.
Yeah.
It's a game that's supposed to be strategy and hard. But I do think that it's necessary, but I do poke fun.
I 100% agree with that. I played Classic, and it made me enjoy current WoW a lot more. Not because I was like, oh, it was so bad. It made me like, wow, it changed my perspective. I didn't realize, right. I didn't realize how much playing this game continuously for as long as I had shifted the way I thought the game needed to be played. And by going back to Classic, you know, no matter how many pandas told me to slow down, it didn't work. But when I went back to Classic, I was like, oh, I should slow down. This makes sense now. I shouldn't worry whether or not I'm current. I shouldn't worry about the raid tier that I'm on. I shouldn't worry about what my gear score is. I can just play this game and have a good time. Oh, right, that's what this game's about. And that's what I really appreciate Classic for.
Yeah, no, I'm actually totally with you on that. A lot of it is, for me personally, it's because we've had this like long break from raiding. I feel like absolutely no pressure. I'm just going in, enjoying my time in the game, and you know, it's like I have, I guess, daily chores in game, kind of, just because you know I'm trying to get exalted with Mechagon so I can make Mecha Gnomes, just because, even though you know I'm never gonna play one. But
I unlock
like
all of the content even if
Yeah.
I don't use it. I don't know why I'm a
Exactly.
completionist, but yes, I unlocked all the Horde ones and all the current alliance ones, and I only use 2. So
Yeah. So like I'm going through doing that, and you know, as I've said on the show many times before, I'm not a big fan of Mechagon. But you know what? Right now, I've got a Dark Moon Fair buff, which gives me like 10% extra honor. I've got a anniversary buff that gives me 15% extra honor or rep or whatever and everything.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, cool. You know what? I'm gonna go in there. I'm gonna see what the daily of the day is, and I'm just gonna do that. I go in, knock that out. If it's the 6 chests, I am stoked. If it's the 3 rares, I'm like, well, I need to find 2 because I'll wait for the one that drops the really cool mount, the bird or whatever. If it's the, hey, do stuff around Mechagon, I'm like, ugh. And then I found out that opening a chest gives you 10%, so I'm like, I'm going to hunt for chests.
Yeah.
Is it? I thought it was only on first chest open.
It could be.
First one for the, no, I got it for everyone I
Every
opened.
chest?
Oh,
Oh,
you just did chests? That's nice.
Yeah, I did
Maybe I'm
chests in, like,
thinking of
one
rares.
quest.
First rare kill.
I was having too much fun
Probably
on
rares.
Mechagon to know what actually counted.
And I still wish that I could have fun with
Hey,
it,
Ben,
but-
here's a fun joke for you. You ready?
Okay.
Belle, this is a fun joke for you too, but I don't think either of you are going to laugh. So get ready for my fun joke. Hey, you guys, how do you make a mecha gnome?
How?
You tear the arms and legs off of a gnome and replace it with metal.
Yeah.
You're not wrong.
Did that work for everybody?
You're not wrong.
You're not wrong.
That is in fact, much like the cool Terrans are just more robust humans, right?
Yeah,
They're-
how to
Right.
make it cool Tyrann? You feed a human.
Hey,
Right.
hey, how do you make a light forged Draenei?
Oh, those are the worst.
You just tattoo a Draenei?
You paint it yellow.
Actually, okay, so I have to
I'm
bring
trying to behave because I know some people love the light forged Draenei's, but it didn't make
some
any
do.
sense to
Well,
me.
let's put it this way. Story-wise, I get loving them
Right.
if that works. Actually, you know, customization-wise, I hope when they bring in more customization that Lightforged Draenei get something, because the unique thing about them is covered up by all of their armor.
Yeah, there needs to be huge differentiation. Did I say that word right? Because that was a really big word for me.
Huge. I was just focused on the huge. It was really good. Huge.
Huge. There needs to be a big difference, because then you don't know. Like if I have to tell somebody, oh no, I'm a light forged Draenei, I'm not the normal, then it's not fun.
Then they're just like, you were real limited on your class selection.
Right.
I was.
You know what? All the sophisticated people play the Lightforged ones.
Void elves just
They're purple blood elves. That's all. They got into like the clothing dye.
they
and
just
like,
all
oh,
look
crap.
like David Bowie and Mick Jagger at the height of their careers. It's just so bizarre to me.
Oh, so John,
Not sorry, guys.
That's fine. They're alliance. We're fine with that.
Yeah, you can have them. We gave them to you. We
Yeah.
recognize
Thanks,
that we
You're so magnanimous. Thank you.
we try. You know?
we had so many blood elves that we were like, what are we gonna do with all of them? Let's
Well,
send a bunch of them over here.
By the
come and die over there.
the forum response when the Void Elves was announced for Alliance and not Horde was just so pleasing when you were in the toilet. I just got to be really honest about that.
Well, it's good to know. I'll have
Horde
to go
was
back and
very
find that
upset
I'm
because
curious.
I don't know why the Horde was upset. They gave you...
They thought naturally that Void Elves should be Horde because Blood Elves, and they were their brother and sister. It was just classic.
Look,
We're like high elves, but you guys have those.
Yeah, you guys get all sorts of elves. Honestly, I just think you got a raw deal because we got the Twilight Elves. I never will remember the name.
It'd be really
John,
great to see after BFA, and there is no longer such a huge driving. I mean, I know we're still fighting each other in Shadowlands, but it's going to be interesting to see when they finally break that barrier on the faction being a must.
It feels like that's what they're trying to do, right? Like, it feels like this story was the setup for it, and maybe it's not ready for this expansion, but maybe we get there by the next one.
It's funny because the night before the night before, BlizzCon, I was talking to Holinka, and every year I talk to him about things he wants to punch himself in the face, I'm sure.
Kind of like when John talks to any dev.
Yeah, like he just, I know I see his eyes glaze over, but I bring up good points. But I had said, let's talk about allied races, and it's weird because I use DKs as an example just because, and then thinking back, I'm like, oh, that was a little weird. But I had said, if I'm an allied race, or if I'm the main faction, if a Nightborn comes to me and says, as Alliance, I want to fight for you, here's my sword, if I'm Anduin, I'm like, okay, let's roll. Like, I'm not going to turn away people that want to kill for me. You don't do that. That's just dumb.
And if you're Sylvanas, you're like, death.
You are nothing.
I said if I'm the Lich King and a bunch of, or whatever, if a bunch of Alliance, or a bunch of Death Knights, whatever, I don't even remember what I said, but I just said, like, if I offer my sword, it doesn't make sense that they would turn it down. I understand why they're doing it now because it makes sense, but I do feel like they are setting that up, and I am excited for that because my Nightborn needs to be Alliance.
Can you imagine what would have happened if Dark Iron Dwarves went over to the Horde?
Interesting.
That would have been fun. That would have been all right.
And I feel like story-wise, it's okay to have a quick, they chose the side. They were allowed to choose the side because in BFA, think about it, the reason there's faction sides with these allied races is because in the story they didn't come into contact. Like my warlock can't be Kultarian human because Kultarians don't know anything about warlocks. They never came in contact with them. But BFA changes that because everybody was kind of humping everybody, right? Like
That's
we're
definitely what I've learned in WoW over these years.
We're all
especially
in the tent.
the Worgen.
But also especially in Goldshire.
So I think that's a good segue for them in, the next expansion that, okay, now we've all met each other. So now we can choose whatever side we want to choose at the time we want to choose it, very similar to my favorite pandas, because I love pandas. Because pandas can
as well as open up all the classes to everything.
That might be...
I love that idea, but then I always realize the amount of work behind it, because of druids. Druids really ruin everything. Just in real life.
Cut out the druids. Who cares about the druids?
Well,
but everything else gets to be everything.
To play devil's advocate there, they have a lot of budget for devs. So there really shouldn't be a workload issue in terms of doing a thing anymore, if I'm being quite blunt there.
The big thing would be, just racial differences for every druid form.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, that's all I'm getting at. But also mostly that druids ruin everything. That was also the other point.
Because druids are the favorite. Everybody thinks it's DKs, but it's not.
And mechagnomes, every single druid form would have like the dog wheelchair legs.
It'd be like that dolphin movie.
You say a dog wheel.
Dolphin's tail.
I'm just picturing a dog wheelchair, a druid just cruising by with just two back wheels as a...
Yeah, like with their little back legs kind of hanging and stuff. Yeah, why not? The travel form would be adorable.
I think I don't know that should be a thing necessarily. I don't think that it should be. You could be all classes, could be all races.
So when the mechagnome turns into an animal, then
I want to hear your stance on
this. It isn't because of lore. It isn't for any other reason other than I think that's what's nice about having to choose.
You like making people sad.
No, yes I do, but I think that it does make your choice more thoughtful. And I do appreciate that element. I don't necessarily want that element to change. I'm purely selfish in wanting allied races to be able to choose whatever side they want to be on. But in terms of, like, if I want to be a human, I know that there's only so many, classes that I can choose. I like having to be thoughtful of that choice.
Like,
personally.
Some of them, story-wise, can kind of make sense. Although, I seriously think that undead should be able to be paladins if they can be priests. Like, hands down, it should be able to happen.
I agree with that. I do think that there's some stuff's weird there.
But now what you're saying is that
can be a priest should be a paladin.
Could be a priest, can be a paladin.
Yeah, that's what I think.
Yeah, it turns out I believe that everybody can be whatever they want.
What?
Yep, anybody can be anything. Undead can be
an astronaut.
Since when?
Since right now. It happened right here. Mark the date.
It happened right this very moment. Your whole life stance has changed?
In a realm of heroes, yes. In a realm of people like me, I'm not going to go jump over anything.
Like a moon?
Anything. Like a thing that fell on the
fence?
floor. I'm not going to clear it. But in a realm where people are going to be heroes and heroic and have powers, I don't see any reason why they can't elect and train for any discipline.
I mean, almost everybody can be a hunter.
I mean,
sense.
essentially, classes in World of Warcraft are jobs. They can go get a job. I understand everybody being able to take up any class in a realm where we're talking about the champions and we're not talking about, peons. But, we're talking about the elite, the ones with powers, the ones chosen, the ones that die and get to come back for some reason. Those people, I think, could go on and be whatever they want to be. The teachers are out there. I mean, one time I role-played a mage that didn't actually know any magic. It was all just contraptions that they had to simulate it. You can do whatever you want. It's a fantasy world.
That's true. And I do grow tired of being told what's fun for me.
Yeah.
I do.
Yeah.
That is something that has wore my nerves over the last few years.
We're changing your mind.
Well, just in general, like, let me be an adult and make the decisions I want to make. Let me decide what's fun for me or what makes sense to me. I feel like there's some pretty strict lore group of, I won't call them fanatics, but let's be honest,
you can, because they are.
That's what they are, that want to keep a specific standard, I think. But I think Blizzard can make up whatever they want, and it's
and they have,
well,
and
and
that's
they
why
do.
yeah, that's why those arguments whenever anyone's like, but the lore. You see, technically, the undead only channel the shadow side of the priestly. It's like, no, because I can be holy or I can be disciplined.
Yeah.
And that's when they go, okay, but the game has to be playable. And that's when I go, okay, but maybe we can agree that people can just do whatever they want, because it kind of doesn't matter.
Walk into the priest order hall and guess what? There's undead priests, like NPCs in there,
actually
casting holy spells and crap.
That's a good point. And there was a whole story arc in Legion about a night elf becoming a paladin. Yeah. And I was like, oh, they're going to make night elves a paladin, and then it never happened.
And imagine the RP community and how amazing it would be for them to then be able to really create the story, because you really get to, if you can choose whatever you want, then you can really create your own story, because the sky's the limit.
Yeah.
I agree. You might have converted me a little bit.
Okay.
I don't know if there's any downsides to that, but I would rather that than some things that we've done.
Okay.
Than some of the things.
But people
well, I mean,
in general.
if you look at it right now, everything can be a hunter. I'm pretty sure that mecha gnomes can be a hunter, because why not?
And see,
then,
hunter seems like a hard discipline.
Yeah, and then anything can be a death knight, which is, hey, you can come back to life, I guess. I don't know exactly the rules on why for that. But a lot of people can be monks, if not everybody at this point.
Not goblins and Morgan.
Yeah.
And what if there's a path that you take that's slightly different for your choice? It's a lot of work, I'm sure, but just something, you know. Literally, these guys at Blizzard, especially the writers, they're some of the brightest minds in the world of video games. I'm sure they could easily come up with, and maybe that's already in the works. I do feel like they're dipping their toes in that water. And in the interest of keeping World of Warcraft, I think that's probably the only reason I would fight a little bit on that. But some choices are not bad, and having more of a choice in some cases is not terrible.
Yeah.
Having gear thrown at me in every direction and not having to really work for it, that's a bad example of a lot of choice. I know people are going to be mad about that statement, but it is what it is.
I'm probably mad, but I don't have the energy to find out.
Yeah.
I have something to be mad about.
Oh, it's an
And it
airing
has to
of
do-
grievances. It's the month for
It
it.
has to do with choice, actually.
Okay.
Now, this is how it is currently on the PTR. It very well could change, but I don't see it changing. Now, John, I don't know about you, but I'm a fan of transmog.
Yes.
Are you?
I think that's well documented. Thank you.
And
I
look-
don't leave the house without being properly
Look.
attired, and I do have an engineer that makes me the thing for raid. So when I get a new piece, because
Perfect.
my DPS is affected by my transmog. So
No, it
Ben-
definitely is. It's a proven fact.
I don't walk around with the stylish buff on me at all times for no reason.
Okay.
You are talking to a trial of style multi-time in a row champion.
Well, anyways, like I said, on the PTR right now, at least I read this a day or two ago, so who knows, it could have changed, and who knows, they might change it for the future, but I doubt it. Mecha gnomes, you can't transmog like gloves and bracers and feet and stuff because of the robotic limbs and stuff that they have. It just does. You can't.
Well, because
Like,
if you
go
cover
into
it up,
that-
they just become gnomes.
Right.
Exactly. But I mean, think about it though. It's like I love transmog. It's the greatest thing in the world, and I can't do diddly squat on my mecha gnome.
Don't be a mecha gnome.
well, hold on there. First of all, Ned Flanders, you can, but it just isn't the limbs, right? So you
Well,
focus
yeah,
on
but
your
That's
chest.
a big thing,
and-
though.
Is
What
it,
if I
though?
have? What if I,
Is it?
as a player, love the ruby slippers from the Kara event, and I need that on every character I play because they are my favorite shoes in the
You
entire
probably need
game.
therapy then.
Maybe. I think it's well documented that I probably do, but that has nothing to do with
Same.
my ruby slippers.
I've got a solution for you.
Medication
Don't
I've
play
tried.
that
It doesn't
no.
help. Just
You-
so we're clear.
You allow transmog on those limbs, but in battle, you take damage and that gear falls off to reveal your metal pieces, Terminator style. Get hit by a fire blast, the gloves go and burn away, and you've just got metal hands there. And you're just like, I've been burned.
I was always fascinated that you don't lose items when you die. Because
I'm so glad
World
you
of Warcraft, I know, I overpull a lot as a warlock because I think I'm bulletproof and 10 foot tall, and sometimes I am and sometimes I'm not. But I was always fascinated that this is like normally in most games like this, you have to run back and collect your shit from your dead body or you're burned. I am surprised that it's never gone that way. I don't know that I ever want that to be a thing because I think PvP it would be interesting if that was a mechanic in PvP, if I'm being honest. But
No, it's not a mechanic in PvP because there's lockers in the starting areas for all the battlegrounds. You just put your stuff in
well,
the
and
locker.
everything is soul bound, so that wouldn't make sense. But I'm saying, like, I don't know, maybe you could. I don't know where I was going with that, guys. I just
Well, and also, this idea is purely visual. You're not... The gloves are still technically there. This is just to make you feel like a cool robot person.
So basically, the only way to make a mechanome feel cool, John, is that what you're saying?
Yeah, look, if you're gonna... Okay, you're telling me...
and can they only eat nuts and bolts? Is that can they
That's
have
probably-
regular food?
That's probably offensive to robots, but they don't listen to the show, so I'm going to say yes.
Or drink oil?
well,
Absolutely,
technically
they
they're
love
cyborgs.
it. They bathe
Are
in
they
it.
cyborgs? What makes
Yeah,
them a
'cause
cyborg?
They're flesh and mechanical, so that's a cyborg.
They're a fusion.
Yes, Huh.
But look, if you're gonna say, okay, let's give you a fantasy of being the mixture of gnome and machine, like part of that is the Terminator thing. Like, if you're gonna be that mixture, like
It just sounds like the worst mixture there is.
it is. It already is. But like, you have to have the part where Arnie cuts his hand and everybody's going, ah! And then he just tears his skin off, and there's a cool robot hand there. Like, you have to have that, but like as a shitty gnome, so like it's gonna be watered down a bit. But you gotta give that reveal moment. You gotta let mechagnomes walk around like gnomes, but then suddenly be revealed to be more.
So they have a transformation kind of like the Worgen do, but
Yeah.
it comes in battle.
Maybe they get really hot and the gear melts off, like burns off of them. Like steam starts to come out of their back.
Maybe if you're in a group of 5, they all come together to make a Megazord.
This is also a good idea.
I'd be good with that.
Look,
Or
we
some would
just
say
made...
Voltron, depending on which.
Congratulations. I want to play a Mechagnome. We did it. The dumbest... Like, I think Transmog is super important, so I already hate them. They're already gnomes, so lost me there. And, like, yeah, it's better than a gnome. Barely. So, I'm not on board with this, but what we just did here, turned me around. I'm on the other side.
Okay, so the three of us in our Megazord / Voltron, what parts would you be?
Well, you have to form up. It would be 2 legs and a torso. We would need other people to be more effective.
Yeah, well,
but we
that's what I'm
could
saying.
run and we could kick butt.
And just a pair of legs and a torso running around kicking things.
Yeah. But because the command center's in the head and we don't have that, we're just kind of sitting up there awkwardly.
It's most men's lot in life, though, so
Oh.
with general
yeah.
location of said command center.
Mm-hmm. It's definitely there.
It's
I checked.
Yeah.
Did you do a welfare check?
Yeah. Self-care. Starts with self-care.
Look, let's put it this way: you can choose your bits that get changed when you're a Mechanome. Sometimes some people choose some things. Sometimes some people need to choose some things. You know, like legs and stuff.
I think the weapons should be a part of their body.
Oh,
Like,
that'd be great.
the weapons you get just acclimate to your. They
Like
have a
screws
thing.
into their arm
Yeah,
instead.
and it's a part of your body instead of them holding it. I think that would be really cool. And if anybody from Blizzard is listening, I think that should be a thing.
We
That'd be
just
great.
found so many ways to make Mechanomes cooler. Who knew that this was the direction we were going today?
Yep, and their mount, their class mount, is a jetpack.
Or little...
Does it come out of
Doggy
their back
wheels
though?
that
'Cause
pop
would,
out of their
it does.
legs.
Okay, yeah. Because I
No.
haven't really checked, although I'm working on the rep.
Well, I'm
No.
assuming I have no idea what their actual mount is, but I'm saying it should be a jetpack.
I need to go through the Volpera and Mechanome stuff in PTR, and I was hoping that Blizzard would just give people the quest line so that they could test it, but that's not the case. I have to get it in live, and first world tester problems.
Is that true that Daniel Day-Lewis was going to be the Terminator?
No, they're because he's a method actor. They're saying it's a good thing that he wasn't
Oh,
the Terminator.
I got
yeah,
it.
Daniel Day-Lewis is
Yeah.
a great actor for many things, but I don't think he would have been good in the Terminator. I think that would have been, Schwarzenegger was a good.
I mean, I would like to see that version now, though.
I'm
It
a
would
Terminator.
be a very long monologuing.
If you have a
very
Sarah
long-
Connor and I have a
It
gun,
would be
it goes,
a lot of monologuing would be occurring.
I kill your Sarah Connor. I kill her up.
I will find you.
I'm gonna hire you to be my personal narrator in life, John. I really want to hire you for my conference calls because that would just I'm already outrageous on my conference calls, and my executive team has learned to just be okay with what they're getting in that lot. But that would just bring it home that much better. Ugh. I need Jeff Goldblum to follow me around, or
Oh my gosh, have you been watching The World According to Jeff Goldblum on Disney Plus?
I watched a half of an episode, but that half of an episode I watched was amazing. I love Jeff Goldblum. It's hard.
It is the most amazing show there is. It is.
He's wicked hot and he's really old, which is very weird to say out loud.
So freaking weird.
His
Not,
weird
well,
is
not
what makes him
exactly.
funny.
Like he's just so in love and in awe of everything. Like, I want him to do an episode about Blizzard. Like,
I want him
just
to
have
be my
go in and
dad.
see stuff. Oh,
Not
that'd
in
be
a
amazing
weird,
too.
like, let me call you daddy type of situation, but
Mhm.
like a
Would you-
genuine.
Would you listen to him in a battleground though?
Yeah.
Probably not, though.
If he came in and talked to you about it.
Actually, he's kind of the type of guy that commands listening. You just stop what you're
Oh,
doing
you
and
should
you're like,
you should see that guy over there. You should go attack him.
I would
Now,
listen to Optimus Prime because
There will eventually be dinosaurs on the dinosaur
right
tour.
because they will find a way.
On the battleground. Fighting.
That and Optimus Prime. I would listen to Optimus Prime in a battleground because every speech he gives, I am like, take my sword, take my firstborn. Where do I sign up?
Oh my
I will
gosh,
follow
and that
you.
2 minutes before the battleground starts, just this is Optimus Prime.
That would be so great.
What we need to do is to go and attack the bunker first.
You're just like, just keep telling me what to do, Optimus. Just keep telling me what to do.
You have my
The
sword.
battle will begin in 30 seconds.
What you
Do the
need
full
to do-
countdown. Just from 29, 28, 27, Optimus Prime. Just keep telling me and then say roll out like you do to the other Transformers.
Res at the spirit leader and head back.
Man, life would be great. if-
Alliance team, roll out.
Oh, that would be so good. Somebody should make an add-on that does that.
There might be.
I'll give somebody
I mean, there's
a
an add-on for
dollar.
everything.
I'll give you $1 if you do an Optimus Prime voiceover motivation add-on.
Oh my gosh.
That'd be a good alarm clock.
Are you kidding? You'd just be like,
Well,
it'd
yeah,
just be
but
in your
you
dream
wouldn't.
and you,
Well,
You're
no,
not
you would
wrong.
incorporate it into your dream and just live it.
I have 2 alarms because I have a backup because I snooze the first one naturally. But
Mhm.
one is Knight Rider and the other is the Riders of Rohan music when they're going into battle.
Is it? Excuse me. I'm just.
No,
I love
technically
Knight
it's the
Rider.
Battle of Gondor, but same.
So is it the Knight Rider song, or is it actually Kit like talking to you, telling you to wake
So
up?
I tried to find that, but then I thought in my semi-awake state I might get freaked out and like smash my phone. So it is just the music, but
Okay.
it's very like I wake up and I'm ready to
Oh yeah.
do things.
Well, I mean, you
because-
could have Kit, or just find voice recording of Mr. Feeney. I mean, same person. So
Oh. I do like Mr. Feeney anyway, outside of the Kit situation. just
definitely.
'cause, you know, he's a Feeney.
he's a Mr. Feeney.
Mhm.
John's like, I don't know what's happening right now.
Yeah, I know what Knight Rider is.
Do you know who Mr. Feeney is?
No,
You never Boy Meets
Oh.
World? That's just
Mm-mm.
that's
That
just
is
a
sad.
shame.
no.
I've actually been chain pulling that.
I learned how to be a moral person watching Boy Meets World and
There's a lot
Seventh
of
Heaven.
really, Seventh Heaven goes a little too extreme, but I gotta say, Boy Meets World, it's got some pretty good lessons.
Is
in there.
that a thing that people say these days? I've been chain pulling that for watching shows.
Well, is that what it's?
No, it's binging, and I just said something entirely different.
I was like, you said it, and you
Thank
said
God
it so
you questioned it.
casually. I was just
Thank
like,
God you questioned it because I didn't understand what he said, and I didn't want to be that old lady that's like,
Oh my
What?
god, I'm either starting a trend or I'm so old that I suck.
oh.
hey, you guys, I'm totally gonna chain pull the new season of Marvelous Miss Maisel tonight. You know what I mean?
I am still struggling with words like lit. So.
I
Because
don't know
lit
what
in
you
my
said.
day was not a good thing, right? It meant actual fire. So it's.
I've always taken it to refer to an abbreviation of literature.
I can see how you would think that.
Mhm.
It
There's also
it
the
was-
band.
It was lit, fam. It was English literature.
I was thinking more like you're gonna need to take Lit 101. Lit studies.
That's survival skills, right? Because you're starting fire.
Litscapades.
Litscapades?
Yeah,
What?
it's when you read on ice skates. It was an elective I didn't take.
Is
It's
that
just someone in a rink just narrating, like reading from a book, just skating around
is
to
that
an
part of
audience.
the Olympics after dark or?
They're just call me Ishmael.
It was the best of times. It was the worst of times.
I I really want to go to a skating rink with a bullhorn and just.
The Marleys were dead to begin with.
I would just start reading Christy Golden books and just be happy about it.
John,
I'd have a scarf, right? Because scarves make you more.
Oh yeah, you need to, of course. See, if you wear a scarf, you're obviously authority, so they'll let you do anything.
Because smart people wear scarves to protect their necks from
vampires.
Air.
From head toppling.
Yeah. John, I also love that you quoted Christmas Carol from a Muppet Christmas Carol.
Because that's what I just watched. I watched it like 2 days ago.
It's
We're
all
Marley
class.
and
That is
Marley.
why I love you guys.
Oh.
It's all class all the time. That's why I love you guys.
There's no cheeses for us, Mises. I love that movie. It's my favorite Christmas movie.
Yeah. I'm glad you realized that was from a Muppets. It makes me so happy that my reference got picked up.
Are you two having a moment? Do you need a room,
like,
or...
I mean,
Yeah. Like
you
they've
know,
said the same thing multiple times this episode.
sometimes you're friends with someone, there's a forming of the friendship, and then sometimes it's just you get comfortable, you get in a rut. And, like, you're friends because you know you've been friends, but not because you're feeling it at any given moment.
What are you saying?
Well, but I'm saying I felt it just now.
I feel your
The
vibe.
rut?
I felt it.
Not the rut. I used to have that, and then all my friends stopped being, people.
Show title: John feels Ben's rut.
Right
You
in
guys
the
are friendship goals.
right in the rut.
Need to
Oh no,
find
we're not friendship
friends.
goals. He
No,
he ditched me tonight instead of dinner. He
That's
needed
real
a nap.
friends.
I did. I was like, I need me time, Ben. I need to sleep.
That's
And
part of friendship.
yeah, and he allowed me to have it like a true friend. But then made a passive aggressive comment on it like a true
That's
friend.
also a true friend.
Well, it's a good thing you didn't go because I barely got home in time because there was an accident on Belle. Not you, the road, Belle.
I was shopping and I left it. I told my husband we need to be home by like 7 at the latest because traffic. So we left super early.
I got home at like 7:35.
Oh wow. You were
Yeah.
that close.
Yeah, I haven't eaten dinner yet. It's been
Oh, what's
sitting over
dinner?
there.
What'd you pick up?
Well, since you weren't involved, we went to Samurai Sam's.
Like it's I like Samurai Sam's. I just don't like the one over by us.
Oh, okay. that
There's the
makes sense.
smell.
Oh, okay. World of Warcraft, though, guys, that's a game. And it's fun.
Like, we're at the end of the show. They made it this far. They can deal with
Yeah.
hearing about Phoenix traffic conditions and cuisine.
Exactly.
I have more fun on everyone else's show. Does that make my life sad?
What?
No?
I was just
Oh,
thinking-
you mean you're not talking about then this show you're on right now? I thought you were just like, guys, I just want to share a fact with you. This is
meant-
literally the worst experience I have doing a show.
I meant in general whenever I'm on other people's shows.
I picked that up.
Okay.
I was there with you.
I don't know if you say those things out loud, if that just made me really pathetic. I was just thinking it and it just came out. As you get older, your ability to not say things out loud is...
Well, okay, so there's, just right off the bat, there's 2 reasons for that. Reason 1, you have no responsibility whatsoever when you're guesting on a show.
Mm-hmm.
And
I
reason
don't have
2,
responsibility on my show. It's just me and one other person who is just there to...
yeah, but
so I'm
the
not
thing
alone.
is you're always there, and if you have anything to do like recording or editing or
that's-
anything like that, that's responsibility.
That's deep, Ben. Anywhere you
Yeah.
are, there you are.
And then part number 2, we don't have responsibility on our show, which is
Yeah.
why you're enjoying it over here.
Yeah, we've already.
I don't have any
just,
on mine either. I cut all that. I got tired of responsibility.
Yeah.
Just wanted to have fun.
We just let the iceberg drift off into the ocean, and we just went. We
And see
created
what it
that
is.
show, Ben, and somehow, even out there where it has sailed, it's putting out weekly content.
Still making the
Just
dream
just
happen.
bless it.
Every
Just
now and
bless
then
it
it's
as it
sinking-
goes.
It's sinking our listeners' ears every week.
We're like,
That's not a perfect
what do you
example.
want, little Azeroth round table? Aren't you out of ideas? And it just goes, do a Q&A show. 2 weeks in a row.
No.
See, now you're making it seem like we actually don't know what we're talking about every week. Oh,
We
wait.
don't. We
that's how
do
the show's
no
been for the
planning.
last, like-
I didn't know what we were going to talk about tonight. I thought, well, maybe Ben will bring up his PvP story, but I don't know.
And I'm going to let him have it because we didn't prep. Little did you know, we managed to create something. I don't know if it was good, but
I think it was.
This is
I was
this is
enjoying
a thing we've made. We've made art together. Literally.
Literally.
Not art in the like painting sense, but like art to the abbreviation of Azeroth Roundtable.
Yeah. Yes. We always make art when you join us, Belle.
Yeah.
that's not what most people say. But I am going to take it and run, and I'm not even going to question it.
That's what we say every week. This was art.
Art is magical.
Mm-hmm.
It can be.
Yeah.
Not mage magical, but
No, it's now monk magical. It was
Yeah.
mage
Yeah.
magical for a time.
Monk
but
and rogue, mostly.
A lot of rogue.
Did we ever overlap our monks?
Nope. Don't overlap your
that
monks.
sounds
You don't.
like a good Friday night.
You don't want to overlap monks unless you're real drunk.
Sounds like you should let me get a camera and we can make some money off this overlapping situation. 'Cause I know a guy.
Whoops, the monks touched. What else are we gonna do?
Well, Belle, thank you very much for joining us this week.
That's that hard stop we were talking
That
about.
was it. We got it. We did it.
It has been an absolute pleasure talking to you. I really appreciate your support in our idea of everybody gets to play everything.
And in letting the monks touch just a little bit.
Exactly.
Yeah, I got to make money off the monk touching, so
Exactly.
yeah.
Yeah. Until next time we have you on, then where can people find you?
I think I do a show still.
The
You're
amount
not
of
sure 'cause
times
you
I've
have too
said
much
that.
fun every
Yeah.
other places.
Same, Belle. Same.
I'm in the midst of what I think is my 7th creator meltdown this year, which is age and responsibility as an adult. But I am at Bella Ponecast all over places that are probably not reputable. But I think eventually in 2020 I might have it figured out and I might actually have a real show that's a show.
That's quite all right. You can do what you want to do.
Well, I'm going to
We
do
still
a
love you.
365-day journey to becoming a taco for 2020. That's on my... I'm going to live blog it.
Cool. I don't know how to become a taco. I
I don't
guess it does
either.
take 365 days, though.
Yeah, we're going to figure it out together because
That's the journey.
I really want to be a taco, and
We've
who's gonna tell me I
established
can't?
on this date that you can be whatever you want to be.
You can be
Yes.
whatever you want to
Exactly.
be.
You can be a taco.
Then I'm taking it to the White House.
That works.
I'm kidding.
Hey,
Probably not.
John.
Yeah. Hi, Ben. Hello.
Thank you. I was waiting for that. I just
Okay,
want to make sure
sorry.
you're paying attention
Yeah,
there.
and yeah, I zoned out for a second, but it was fine. Hardly
That's
noticing.
okay. If people are looking for you, though, where can they find you?
Well, hey, everybody. You can find me online. You can follow me on Twitter at John_Jagger, where I will be constantly surprised at what I tweet that is popular and what I tweet that is not popular. It's always a whirlwind. I'm like, yeah, this is going to be the best tweet I ever wrote. Nobody cares. Then I'm just like pooping and I'm like, all right, this. And it's still going. So, what are you going to do?
Well, so basically when you write the tweet, you just say, hey, this one's the shit.
I'm just going to type more when I poop because apparently that's when the creativity comes out.
It's the same for
Yeah.
me.
Yeah. So, hey, at John_Jagger is where you can do that on Twitter. You can also catch me talking about video games on Core.
Core!
That is the video game podcast I do, part of the Frog Pants Network. If based purely on amount of feedback is any indication, last episode was real good. You should check it out. And we're back to There Will Be Dungeons this week, and I'm looking forward to that. We do that every Sunday. You can find out more about that at therewillbedungeons.com.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Ben,
Yes, John.
hello.
Hello.
Can I suggest a title for the show?
Sure. I don't have one yet.
What's the name of the PvP mode? Is it Crow?
Revenge.
Well, I
Someone's
don't know.
Revenge.
I'll have to keep workshopping it. I thought you knew this information.
It's like Crow Rock's Revenge or something like that.
Okay. Crow rocking out and touching monks.
Probably not.
I think it's pretty good. I think it's solid.
I'm gonna say Crossing the Monk though.
That doesn't.
Crossing the Monks.
That sounds like
Overlapping the monks.
touching monks.
Okay, touching monks.
Okay, we did it. Hey,
Frank
Ben,
Monks.
when you're not writing titles to the episode before the episode's concluded, where can people find you?
Best place to find me is on Twitter. I'm at Ben Bumhofer. I do a show with Eludra called Boxfort, where we geek out about a whole bunch of random stuff at random times, at randomness and stuff.
Can I suggest a title for that show?
No.
It's a good idea. It wasn't good.
Okay. Yeah. That's a non-pooping Twitter comments. That's what that was.
Okay.
If you like Dungeons and Dragons and you want to hear a different take on a game being played, you can listen to me on +5 to Hit. I do that show with some other people you may know, such as like Ryan Reeder, Ro. You know those two guys?
I do, actually.
Do a show with them. Brian, our DM, he's pretty awesome too. Anyways, other than that, I do a show called DN Discussions where we talk about Dungeons and Dragons from a DM and a player perspective. You can check that out. That is DN Discussions. I have to enunciate because when I say it too fast, people don't know how to find it. So I got to be careful with that. But
Dinned
this show,
discussions. Dinned.
Exactly.
Dinned.
This show, though, Azeroth Roundtable, you can find us on Twitter. We are at AzerothRT. If you have any questions, comments, want to tell us about who you think should have played the Terminator, you can send those emails to AzerothRoundtable@gmail.com. And, of course, you can check out every episode that we've ever had on AzerothRoundtable.com, as well as on iTunes, Spotify, all those other places. And if you're looking for our Discord to jump in and kind of talk to us and everything, there's a link on AzerothRoundtable.com just for that. And last, but certainly not least from me, check us out Friday nights on twitch.tv/AzerothRT. I'm sounding like I'm getting drunk here at the end.
Flash.
But check out our Twitter. I just
What
can't
is
talk
happening
anymore.
to you at the end of this show?
You dangerously almost
It's
said
been-
tweeter.
Yeah, it's been a long time since I've just completely lost it. at the end of the
Enjoy
show.
as a man audibly melts in your podcast feed.
Yeah. But yeah, check us out and stuff. And John has something to say.
That's true. Linda Hamilton is who should have played the Terminator.
Yeah, I can see that.
Mm-hmm. Would have been a fine Terminator. Hey, everybody. Observations like that aren't free. And neither is this show. Sounds like we're trying.
They are free.
Going
for a lot of
really-
people.
I'm really going heavy on the ad for Patreon today. The show is technically free, but it doesn't have to be. If you want to pay for free things, congratulations, you've figured out the model. Go to patreon.com/AzerothRT and you can help support the show. We want to thank all the patrons who have done that. But we want to give a special shout out to the Murloc Club. That's Aaron, Blixie the Rogue, Brandon O, Jesse O, Caleb M, Kilroy Tastic, Sarah M, and Taryn. Thank you so much for being part of the Murloc Club.
Didn't cough in the middle of it this time. I'm kind of getting better.
Fran
Although you're getting
Drescher.
sick. Should have been the Terminator.
You said it.
Or Optimus Prime.
I'm looking for Sarah Connor. I can't do Fred Drescher. Anyways, everybody, thank you very much for joining us. Chat
Was
room,
that
you're
what that was
awesome.
supposed
That's
to be?
supposed to
No,
be
we're
Fran.
moving on. We're moving forward. Chat room, you're awesome. Belle, thanks again for joining us. And everybody, until next time, be good to each other. Bye-bye.
One more time, do Fran Drescher. One more time.
Have you seen Sarah Connor?